Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
A reading from the Book of Armaments, Chapter 2, verses 9 through 21. And St. Attila raised the hand grenade on high, saying, O Emperor, bless this thy hand grenade, that with it thou mayest blow thine enemies to tiny bits in thy mercy. And the Emperor did grin, and the people did feast upon the lambs and the sloths, and the carp, and the anchovies, and the orangutans, and the breakfast.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Stephen Ford. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
I got distracted again. It seems to keep happening.
Rob and his goldfish brain.
We're all good at something. So the nights are upon us.
They taste delicious too.
They do. They're not gluten free though. Sadly.
So this part of the episode is referred to in our notes as the intro. And at this point, I'm going to break down at the top of the show, because advertising reasons, that the Long War swag shop has dice bags.
Oh, look what you can fit in them.
Dice bag. Let's see. Anybody who's watching this can see a Corvus Black Star inside. It fits inside of a Long War dice bag. But if you're
slowly emerging,
and we're talking like the girth, wingtip to wingtip, assault cannon to rooters. What are those things called, Robbie B?
Airlines and
Stabilizers. Assault cannon to stabilizer. It is fully in the bag.
It's in the bag.
So there you go. We got 25 of these dice bags available right now in the Long War swag shop. That's longwarswag.com.
Not to be confused
limited
with the long swag.
Or
don't Google search that.
The longwar.net.
Also, you would be surprised what comes up.
So I think we had a pretty good week. Memorial Day weekend, new battle report on the longwar.net. We've got the Drakari battle report finally out right now.
Yo, powerful book. Talos paint engines are legit.
Kind of like we talked about. 9 Talos seem pretty good.
Yep. Yo, I don't know if we want to talk about this now, but I am in a firm belief. I am absolutely against Dark Eldar having this ability to deny stratagems. Not so much for the fact that it hurts Dark Eldar players. I'm down with that. But the last thing I care to have is every Ynnari army that has all the billion Dark Reapers and Shining Spheres and everything else. You know, all they got to do is pay the 104 or 109 point tax to get a patrol detachment.
What is that? Cheapest HQ, cheapest troop choice?
Yep. And you can actually get it. You can get it even under that if you want. This is like, a solid like 15-man squad of Dark Warriors. It's unbelievable.
I agree. We talked about it briefly in the webcast. I don't like stratagems that turn off stratagems, not because I don't think it's cool or anything. I think it's because it's bad for the flavor of 8th edition. One of the things that makes 8th edition unique and cool and different for the first time in 7 editions is stratagems and resource management. So somebody being able to just pocket jack you of that, and then that being available to some of the most powerful configurations for 109 points starts to force us back into I don't need stratagems. Back to the index days practically. And then now back to why are we playing 8th edition? I'm not salty about it. It's just game theory. I don't like it. I don't think it's good for the game.
Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I definitely see where you're coming from. They did try to give it a higher cost, but at the end of the day, just like you said, we have, detachments. They give you more command points now. And the fact that you can just sprinkle these guys in for minimum amount of points into some of the biggest configurations out there, Eldari. And we haven't even seen the Ynnari book yet. So if it makes it that long, maybe they'll fix it in chapter approved. hard to say, but we're living with it for at least till December.
Yeah, and so here's a crazy chain of events, right? This is another reason why I don't like. This is almost a interrupt spell, right? So for NIDS, for example, I played Delgado at a tournament this past weekend, had a great game, the worst dice rolling that I can remember in a long time, and so Delgado was able to take it home. Either way, he's a good player, and he had obviously a really good list, but I just hate it when I lose those games just because of bad dice, but so we're playing, and he was down again. I'm trying to nickel and dime him on. At this point, you're really doing like old 7th edition stuff, Kenny, like you brought up for like Deny the Witches. When are you going to use things? When do you want to put your really good spell out there? So we're to the point he goes to cast. He only has 2 warp charges. He only has 2 warp charges, 2 CP left, right? So I was like, yo, he can't try to stop me. So here I come in, and I'm like, I'm going to double shoot my Hive Guard finally, right? And he's like, all right, let me try to get one back, because he gets them on 6s. So he does. And he simultaneously gets one back and then instantly says, okay, I'm going to stop it now. And I was like, no way those chain of events. Psh, boy, was I wrong. It specifically says in there, you reimburse your opponent. So this stratagem would have the ability to go off. And if he rolls a 2 through a 5, you reimburse your opponent for his CP. Hence, I would have had to spend them. Hence, he would have had the chance to try to get them, in turn, instantly activating this. So it's not even like it's a cool verbiage. It's like oh, gotcha. Thank you for giving me a CP back, even though it was a 1 in 6 chance, to make it happen. So no, I don't like it. I believe that it is definitely going to be one of the first things that gets cut come late August or mid-September.
I almost feel like you can tell with the Jakari book that it was right on the cusp of them really getting a bunch of feedback from the developers or from the playtesters and stuff, because there was stuff in there that was worded well, but it wasn't worded to the point that we saw some similar things in books that came out after it. So I'm really interested to see if this is the point where they're like, okay, now we need to go back and start fixing some things from this point forward, because the Death Watch book, for the most part, was written pretty well and didn't really require any, crazy FAQs or anything like that. And a lot of things were very well written in it. So it's good to see that the folks are out there doing this.
Yeah, let me chime in right here. Got a comment. Anybody listen to the show? This is one reason why it's more fun to be involved in the live version. Izante says, I am undefeated in my Jakari currently. The strat is pretty strong. Part of the problem is people build lists that rely on stratagems. Yeah, that's 8th edition. One of the primary differences between this edition and all previous editions is that we have resource management available to us, and they have removed universal special rules and given us stratagems. That is what makes this game different than the last version of the game we played. So when people can just hijack that ability, one of us is playing 7th edition, the other one's playing 8th edition in a crucial situation. I'm not saying the whole game plays out that way, but if like my army is built on the clutch of stratagems to make my army more than what it would normally be, with hence making it totally different than 7th edition, 6th edition, 5th edition, 4th edition, 3rd edition, it kind of like takes away some of the like magic that is the new edition, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's what that thing, just from a game theory stance, that's what I don't like about it. Not from like we've always had things in the game that like stop somebody from doing what they want to do or whatever. But this one for me, it's like, why do we even have resource management if people are going to start getting stratagems that they can stop that?
Yeah. Juice is talking. He's muted.
Wow. I just Robbie B'd myself. I was wondering, I was like, damn, Kenny is still talking. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Come to find out, I was muting my whole self. So what's the guy's name? So I can shout him out by name. The gentleman who just Asante. So I would have to imagine, and I'm sure you could admit, under the same premise that you were beating people because they were relying on stratagems to win the game. Come to find out, I would bet that you won multiple of your games because you had a stratagem that won you the game. Just imagine if you didn't have that, you probably wouldn't have won them. because your opponent would be able to do things that you didn't allow him to do. So like, no, this is the age of stratagems. If something is going to be that damn powerful, everyone needs access to it.
And like I said, I think that's even the worst solution to this particular struggle, because that guarantees that everything I like about 8th edition no longer matters. You know what I mean? I want to, like, Tide Traders, really powerful, the most powerful stratagem in 40K. Then they said you could do it once a game. Fixed.
Yep.
There you go.
And it's not like you don't use it that once a game. You use it every game.
Every fucking game.
Yeah. And so no, and I love Drakari. I love the Dark Eldarness. Big personal friend of mine and to the show, Chris Blackham, dude, did amazing 2 weeks ago at a tournament, and is loving his Drakari. So no, I am with it and trust and believe, I just, again, they're able to do something now that no one else is, that is game changing. I don't know if it has a place in the game. I don't believe it does.
They could just limit it to one use per, just like they did with the Tide of Traders. That would probably fix it. Or
and
just
for the love of God, it would get used every game, and it would be amazing, and it would still be game changing. But at least at that point, it's
and it doesn't scale with the fact that in the beta FAQ they gave us more CPs too. So
yeah,
it's like
that didn't scale very well.
when they said you get more CPs, the first thing I did was flip over to see if they changed Tide of Traders. When I read that, because I was like, you just gave me another free Tide of Traders. You gave me 3 Tide of Traders because I always run double battalion. So you gave me 3 more Tide of Traders. But then I read it and I was like, oh, they fixed this. Good. But so then you have something that's 3 CPs that gave us 3 bonus CPs, and you can use it multiple times, and you might have 2 battalions or 3. And every time you do it twice, you get 1 stratagem back. You know what I mean? And it's like, ooh, every time I do some you know what I mean? Like, it's like, not with it. But that's definitely not the subject of this episode. It's just an interesting thing that came up during the live webcast, which we do every week, about 35 minutes before we do this. So we got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Rob, I'm gonna turn it over to you and shut up.
We got Knights on the horizon. Knights! Tabletop Market Watch is basically full of Knights. So coming on to pre-order this week is the new White Dwarf for $9. And then we've got a combo box. And this is curious. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure by the time a lot of you are listening to this podcast, the releases will be out and visible on the site. But right now, we don't know exactly what comes in the box for the armigers. You do get 2. Supposedly, that's the theory, or you get 1 with all the weapons. I don't know yet. I guess they said it was 2 somewhere. I haven't tracked it down yet. The key here is nobody's sure if you get both versions, the one that comes in the Forge main box, and enough to make the autocannon ones, which we're going to talk about here shortly. That's really interesting. And another thing that's got the internet in a little bit of an uproar is the fact that they're coming out with the Valiant and the Castellan Knight, both separate boxes, apparently, for $170 each.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a strong dollar value, okay?
That's the most expensive single kit they've put out for the tabletop ever.
That is a strong number. I mean, I guess they're taking that, out of Forge World's hands? Like, that's the class we're at, right? The Lancer, the Atribos, that's that kind of class. It's bigger than a normal knight. Right?
That's a good question. I think the Cerastus class is very similar to the Dominus class, but the Dominus class is heavier. Way heavier. So, I don't know. It's interesting, though, because obviously all the knights, I believe, are 249 pounds. So that ends up being about $100 more, closer to the 349 side of things if you buy them from Forge World. I may be a little off on my math, but I'm pretty sure they're 249. Regardless, the Imperial Knight book is coming out.
Is anybody in this room going to buy one from Forge World?
What, a Cerastus class? No, they're. Have you seen a Cerastus class knight on the table? Have you seen a knight on the table anywhere in the past summer?
Negative.
Yeah,
crickets.
You about to. Imperial Knight Codex for $40. Then they're coming out with the data cards again for $15. And interesting surprise, a data sheet release. So you get all the data sheets. It's very similar to what they did for Age of Sigmar for $15 as well. Imperial Knight Battle Gauge for $12.50. That gives you the 3-inch, 6-inch, 2-inch, 1-inch movement or quick measures on it. I think it's 6 inches. I'm pretty sure it's 6 inches. And the Forge Shrine, that's that terrain piece as well.
Rob, I say that all the time to myself.
I think it's 6 inches. Maybe. It's probably more like 3.
That's a standard.
Close enough.
Standard discussion I have in the bedroom.
And there's a reason for that. There is a way for knights to interface with models in ruins with their fisticuffs. So it's very important to have this battle gauge, actually. Spoiler alert. Anyway, so that's the big releases for this week. Now, that is not all of the new knights that are coming out. So there's probably going to be a wave 2 coming out as well. So we've got Preceptor on the horizon, the Preceptor class, which may or may not be a separate release. It may be the Preceptor kit and also the Canis Rex special character model. Not sure yet because they kind of surprised everybody with this.
Canis Rex. Is that Hector Rex, the Inquisitor? Is that like his cousin, his brother or something?
I guess it's Sir Hector piloting the Canis Rex.
So not related to Inquisitor Hector Rex.
I think eventually GW just recycles all their words.
Yes, aka Onager versus a Onager from the AdMech.
Or all 8 versions of the Baneblade that all sound the same.
Or Incessor, Inceptor,
Intercessor.
Interceptor, Incessor, Inceptor.
Yeah, those are slippery slopes right there. Holy cow. So yeah, who knows what's coming out the week after? I surely don't know at this point anymore. But we'll find out more this weekend from Games Workshop. Either way, next
who run ATC, the American Team Championship. I think they said that the night book is going to be the last book before ATC, so we must not have too much coming out before that. And shout out to those guys, the amazing shit that they have been going on and have been dealt with throughout the years of having 6th edition roll into 7th edition, have to get this and this. Kenny, do you know how many teams they're sold out at right now?
70.
70 is the number. 70 teams are going to be in that room, sold out event.
I just guessed that. Well, it's called instinctual math.
Yep. It's never wrong. 70 teams of 5. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Last year was a record-breaking number, and they hit like 55 or 57. Shout out. Great job. Sorry.
Yeah, they're crushing it. No doubt there. I think they got plenty of space, so I think they can expand out a little bit for sure, but it's going to start to get snug. They start selling more tickets. What else is coming out next week? We just missed new releases for Star Wars Legion. We got the Rebel Fleet Troopers for $25 and Leia Organa Commander for $12.95 for Star Wars Legion. Now, apparently they're super allocated. So if you see these and you're on the fence about, hey, do I need these for my Rebel army? You might want to scoop them up because everybody's already sold out from distributors to FFG on down. So I don't know what that means for future releases, but get them if you see them because they are going to be not available for a hot minute. Props. And that is pretty much all the new releases that I am tracking. We might see some new stuff from Forge World at some point. They just keep teasing stuff. They're like, we'll put out some new stuff here soon. Maybe.
Forge World is dead to me.
Oh,
Rob, what do we got for Knights? Obviously, the Codex is out and you have it in your hand, right?
Yep, here it is. No, GW previewed a lot of stuff today about all the weapons and things like that. We do have some information. I got a lot of notes here from a few different sources on things for the book. So the 2 big knights that everybody's talking about is the Castellan and the Valiant. Obviously, the Harpoon's been making rounds. The most powerful weapon in the game, the standard game, not counting Apocalypse and stuff, is what people are calling it. If you haven't heard yet, that's the Harpoon. It's 12-inch range, heavy one, does strength 16, neg 6, 10 damage, does an additional D3 wounds if it's a Titan or a monster. Like, it is a monster. That weapon is a monster. if you're within 12.
Yeah, gibbing things. It's crazy. I've heard about this weapon, and in my talks I was like, literally one of the other knights you're going to talk about has got like, he's this badass, like bigger than a city, taller than a skyscraper, has every gun known to man. He's double shooting everything. He's doing all this, and his plasma. Oh, he's got this badass plasma gun that does 1 damage. Just like if Kenny had a plasma gun. His plasma gun would do 1 damage, just like this guy, right? And I'm just like, damn, where did the disconnect happen from 40,000 years in the future that a microwave gun will do 1 damage, but a damn big-ass stick with a pointy end that traditionally we use to kill whales or big animals literally does 10 fucking damage? A harpoon. I want an entire army of tridents, harpoons, anything that does shit like that, because that's amazing.
Well, assuming that the harpoon is being accelerated to a speed similar to a bullet as a ballistic weapon, if it has the mass behind it, it would do more damage than pretty much anything. If it has the mass of like a train and they can accelerate it to like, bullet speed, that's a problem.
So I guess this makes sense. Like, so with that being said, what is it? Pacific Rim, where these guys got these guns and they're like doing all this shit until they, for some reason, 4 minutes into the fight, after they've taken like 60% damage, they pull out these, force sword looking things and just cut people in half. And it's like, why didn't you lead with that, homie?
Fact. So Juice,
Yeah.
Rob, we have, so what's the name of the knight with with old Ahab? What's his name?
Old Ahab, that's the Knight Valiant. He also has the conflagration cannon that does 3d6 auto hit, strength 7, -2, 2 damage. It's the super flamer.
Super flamer.
And he has melta guns, is that right?
Yeah, so both of them have the melta guns on their shoulders. They're assault 2. There's 2 of them, strength 8, -4, d6 damage.
So 4 shots from melta.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is a Tyrannosaurus within 12 inches.
He also has the shield breaker missiles.
I was about to say, good old fucking shield breaker missiles.
So you have to start by taking him with 2 sets of shield breaker missiles, and they are 2d3 shots, strength 7, -1.
Hold on a second. I don't remember you saying 2d3 shots last time.
Nope, that was wrong. I'm reading.
I was going to say that's not the one we're looking for.
I was like,
No,
wait,
that's the top cannon.
Wait.
So he does have that. It's 2d3 shots, strength 7, -1, d3 damage. This is the top cannon. It's whatever. Just throw it in. Just throw a cannon on.
Throwing a rando d3 damage. Got it.
Garbage cannon. Shield breakers, 48-inch range, heavy 1, strength 10, -4, d6 damage. Ignores invulnerable saves, just like the shield breaker round from the Vindicari.
That is unreal. So why we want to talk about why that's unreal, can we reveal this information now, or are we jumping the gun?
Well,
Talk about some stratagems
next.
Well, give him context, Rob.
There's a 2 command point stratagem that allows you to fire 1 set of these missiles indirectly or at your choice of characters.
Or.
Oh, I think it's together.
Okay, I was like, wait. So
it's just 1 set.
There's nothing special about a one-shot las cannon on this guy when he's got all these other guns until it has the sniper rule and indirect fire rule, and it
ignores invulnerable saves. Holy. Let's put it in perspective.
It's ridiculous.
Put it in perspective. Over 2 turns, Kenny, who dies to 2d6 wounds that they don't get an invulnerable save against?
Robbie G.
We're talking one of the ballerest of ballers. Uncrackable invulnerable save. Dude is this and that. You're talking about through 2 turns, he's just dead? And to be honest, let's not even lie. It's not that big a deal. I rolled a 5 or 6 on turn 1, and I rolled.
You have
for the turn 2.
When you factor rerolls in, command point rerolls in, it's very likely and worth the discussion. Saying you have a good chance of losing Robbie G.
Ooh, you ready for this, Kenny? During the show, we didn't realize that you couldn't shoot both missiles at once. This is actually better than now.
Yeah.
Because now that you have to shoot one on turn 1 and one on turn 2, you get to use command points to reroll both those dice.
Correct, sir. So this guy is our clear favorite at this point.
Yeah.
So
yep, you can do both together. That's a thing.
So Rob, break down some of these other knights so that we can give you guys context why this is our knight.
So you got the Knight Castellan. That's the other one with the plasma that Juice doesn't like because it is 2d6 shots, strength 7, neg 3, 1 damage, or you can overheat it for strength 8, neg 3, 2 damage. Of course, you take the mortal wounds like normal. Comes with 1 set of shield breaker missiles.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Rob B. I didn't realize that he took the normal wounds as normal. Damn that. Damn the fact that I'm going to spend 610 points or over points just to be able to shoot a weapon that potentially I take wounds at. Not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It also comes with the shield breaker guns, but 2 sets of those stock. That's what you pay for. And then the Volcano Lance gets to reroll wounds against Titans, just like the Shadow Sword. It's D6 shots, strength 14, neg 5, 3d3 damage, which is still pretty solid. Still pretty solid. But you know, it's no harpoon, I suppose.
No, so like, I mean, obviously this guy is solid, right? He's got quality shots, he's got things, but that's what Knights have given us that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they've done that already. So I'm looking for something.
Yeah, this other guy has like 4 melta gun shots, which wreck things. He's got a gun that, barring an invulnerable save, is a guaranteed. That's a dead rhino. That's a dead. And it, if it's a, is it Titanic, monster, or vehicle, or just monster or Titanic that it gets to mortal wounds?
For the harpoon.
Yeah, the harpoon.
Let's see. Vehicle or monster?
Vehicle or monster. That's better. So basically, any demon engine, any 2, like, so if you're so Lehman Russ, that's 12 wounds. This thing hits it, wounds it. It does 10 wounds plus D3 mortal wounds. It basically just deletes. You're just saying, I know that this is going to kill a fucking tank up to 12 wounds mathematically. And if I'm within 12 inches of multiple tanks, 4 melta guns are going to delete another tank. And I'm going to charge and delete a third. And I'm going to shield break and finish off Robbie G. Like this guy, I like things that when you shoot them, things fucking die. This is that's why this first night is so gangster.
Kenny, I love it. I'm looking at that 10 damage, and obviously he's built to kill some things, but I'm like, man, I really don't care. Like, because most people have an invulnerable save, but like, you're so right. That's the archetype of shit that he wants to shoot at. That's the builds that he want. Don't worry about, obviously if you don't have any other advantageous targets, but so you're not really you worried about shooting him like at a damn shield captain who's got a 3-up invulnerable, rerollable, right? Because it's a waste. You're just like, I shoot this at that Razorback that I would actually have to dedicate fire to. Now it's dead. I shoot this at, guaranteed targets, and there's nothing they can do about it.
There's a hilarious question in chat. Oh man, aberration, clutch dude. How much does 600 points of Lehman Russ's do to the knight in return? I'm glad you asked that question. The answer is nothing.
Yeah, the answer
because we haven't revealed to you all the information yet. There is indeed a warlord trait. Robbie B, hit him with it.
So there's a warlord trait that allows you that confers a 4-up invulnerable save to just stock to the knight, whichever one's your warlord.
Pretty good.
And then of course,
so this is big because if not, their ion shield is only at 5-up. So why this is important is you're like, yo, word, I really need that. Normally we don't like warlord traits that only affect one model, but when you spend 600 points for a model, you're like, this is good. Now, warlord, this guy, Hobo Baggins 1. What else can we do to make him better?
But just at the 4-up, let me break this down. He's toughness 8. So right out the gate, all your strength 8 Lehman Russ guns that are used to wounding on 3s are wounding on 4s. So that's half. So all your Lehman Russes do half the amount of wound conversions that they're normally used to doing, right? Then 50% of that gets nullified by the 4 up invulnerable. So even if it was just this, not as much damage as you would like, but there is more. Rob?
There's a way to, obviously we know to rotate ion shields to get +1 invulnerable. For the Dominus class, it's 3 command points though to do it. So
for 3 CPs, he has a 3 up invulnerable is what we're telling you.
And a 2 up regular.
So what we're saying here is, and
That's
you 0. Back to what I led with is like the short answer is you don't do any fucking damage in this guy.
That is unreal. That might be one of the best platforms, you know. And again, nobody hit me with, oh, that's a lot of CP. Like, again, as we'll talk about in a list coming up that we just kind of threw together, is CP aren't really going to be too much of an issue. You're going to have some. Don't worry.
Yeah, if you stay with us through the commercial break, we're going to break down our gut check, snap decision list that we think is ridiculous.
Our gluten-free gut checks.
Oh, that's a good question, Wolfsark. I was actually thinking that myself. Can you read the wording on that stratagem for us, Rob? Because is the ion shield save? Okay. Like also, what's the ion shield? How does that give you an invulnerable? How does the warlord trait give you an invulnerable? And how does the stratagem give you a plus to the save?
So I don't have like super specifics. Just have notes here. So I can't give you specific wording.
We don't have the wording on the stratagem.
It's the same stratagem that was in the chapter approved, which I don't have handy.
I'm going to be pretty, if it's the similar one, it's just like guard and stuff like that. It's going to be able to stack. Right now, guard are going to be able to get a +1 save. A save is a save. It doesn't matter if it's armor or this because it doesn't specify +1 to the armor.
Yeah, because the ion shield confers a 5 up invulnerable, right?
So you get the base ion shield, then you can orient or rotate it rather, and for 3 command points, a Dominus class, 1 command point for the other classes, up to a maximum of 3.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like the combo works.
That's what I'm seeing here, and then
to a maximum of 3. Does that mean you can use that stratagem 3 times in a turn?
No, that just means that GW has been very careful with all their wordings about
for 3.
For
up to a maximum of a 3 up invulnerable.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, and this is how you would get to that 3 up invulnerable with this warlord trait, with this stratagem.
Correct. So definitely, if GW fucked up and came out with a warlord trait that give you a different invulnerable save than your ion shield, so that none of your stratagems worked on it, that I'd be like, GW, you back to your old flowchart, huh? but so that just to reiterate why this. What's this? The Valiant Knight, old Ahab.
Yeah, Valiant
Knight. We think is
that's who we like.
That's who we like. Sink just one, stack
we got another one.
Stack invulnerability on him. They make him.
Hey,
strong.
let's run the points down one time, Robbie B.
The Valiant clocks in at 595, and the Castellan is 610.
And this is with their guns. With their guns.
Yeah, with their guns.
Can I tell you, I feel like that's a steal.
It seems pretty solid.
The most expensive that I could ever imagine spending on a unit is that, but compared to what knights are now and as expensive as they are, I believe that's a steal.
Correct. Break down these other ones for us, Rob.
I just want to double check something. Okay, yeah. Just reading through things. So the other thing we need to talk about is the new armatures. Armature. So we know there's a shooting one. We've seen pictures of it. That bad boy. Base points is 170. You have to pay for the stubber. But once you do that, you get 2 arms with autocannon. The Armiger autocannon, which is a special one we've never seen before. It's a 60-inch range, 2d3 shots. So 4d3 shots per night. Strength 7, neg 1, 3 damage, and it ignores the penalties for moving and firing heavy weapons.
Rob, what's the total cost of that configuration?
174.
This is what we talked about when we were
unreal.
When we brought it up, we were like, these guys suck balls, because me and Juice never actually sat down and heard like the rules and the points and everything. But this point deduction plus this weapon is a fucking flat 3 damage autocannon with 43 shots total on the model. Holy shit.
174 points. And again, this hobo is still down that same rabbit hole, right, Rob? He's toughness 8?
No. The little guys are toughness 7, 12 wounds, strength 6.
Duders, I'm with this. Dude, 4d3. So I love the fact that is a flat line of, average of 8. Give me the high ceiling to know that I'm going to roll 9 to 11. I love that. Flat 3 damage is probably one of the best ones in the game, right?
I think so.
We're just going to say a flat 6, but obviously flat 3 is just unfucking real.
No, flat 3 is the truth. Yeah.
Yo, getting hit with a regular autocannon stings. You're like, it's next 1, and then you're like, take 2. Shit. Now it's like take 3. Oh my goodness, what just happened? Ow. The Warglaive, the normal armature is, I believe, 160 plus stubber. So I want to say 164. So it went down like 80 points from the Forgebane box rules. It also gained an ability. It gained a sweep attack to its mini Reaper Chain Fist that doubles its attacks. So it's going to have the 8 attacks, which is, I mean, it's okay. You can't reverse stomp and jump out of combat like you could before, but whatever. They're not really there for that purpose, I don't think. They're more of a fleet engagement type deal. So I think...
Nah, homie, they're a fire base. They're down to chill in my backfield, do their thug fizzle, chilling around, shooting 60 inches every turn. It's my mobile fire base. That's what I want them for. So for 518 points, give or take a few, I get,
Well, Juice, look at it like this. A Contemptor Dreadnought with 2 Butcher Cannons, it's like 168. I mean, he's got 10 wounds, hits on 2s, 8 shots, autocannon configuration, right? 8 shots, minus 1, 2 damage, 168, 10 wounds. This cat, 12 wounds, mathematically also 8 shots. And these shots
with a higher ceiling.
With a higher ceiling damage. Like, they are fucking good.
Yep. Now, 2 things I want to mention before we get to the break. First being, with the Dominus class, they explode differently than normal knights. Remember what used to happen with the knights back in the day when they would explode? You get out the big pie, you assemble your Domino's pizza damaged pie plate.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you blow an O-ring. You got to get that same plate out.
Yep, same exact thing. So there's the way they detonate is a little bit different than normal stuff. So there's a potential for them to detonate out 3d6. Generally, it's only 2d6. And there's also a stratagem that allows you to auto-detonate them on a little bit better odds and get those mortal wounds out that far. It's kind of ridiculous. So even in death, these guys are still ridiculous.
Can't tell you how many games I won with a knight blowing up and finishing off that fucking Demon Prince with a D ring, rolling that 6.
I mean, do you really say for instance, and I think it goes from like, we'll say 16% to 25% chance for this to bubble out and happen 3d6 d6 damage. Like, that's an average of 11 dice, right? Or 11 inches doing d6 damage to everything. And remember,
I've never seen 11 inches. I don't know.
That's 22 inches around, not even counting the base. So you're talking a chunk of the table.
Let me ask you a question. How do you guys roll it? Because typically when I'm at tournaments,
so tough.
I've seen it so many ways. I have a pretty definitive interpretation of the rule of the wording that says blows up 6 inches, all units within 6 inches take D3 mortal wounds. The way I read that is you roll D3 and all units within 6 inches take that number. Is the way I interpret it.
I ask every one of my opponents every time that I do it, and I ask them what they would like for me to do. I have never once someone willingly said that's what they want. every time that it has ever happened, it is always each unit takes D3, which is so crazy to me. I am in that same boat, but because I don't care, that's one of my rules that like whatever makes my opponent happy, that's what I'm going to do to, whatever. So yes, it's so funny. I knew right where you're going with that. And it is never universally played the same way.
Here's the damage ceiling wise. Here's the difference between the two, in my opinion. One of them takes fucking 3 minutes to do. One of them takes 25 seconds to do. So that, and when you read the text, it supports either argument, right? When you read the text, it literally supports whatever interpretation you want it to. I just defer to, like, when I first time I read it, I was like, oh, it blows up. All units within 6 inches take D3. I didn't read it as all units within 6 inches are affected by a separate D3 roll. I was like, this is the strength of my explosion. You all take that strength. That's the way I've always interpreted it. But like, that's what I was wondering, because how are people going to want to play this now that this thing's going to start happening with a 22-inch bubble of D6? Are people going to start taking that, like, bring that discussion up enough times that GW is going to care?
I believe it will. And I believe that it would, get ruled not in their favor and the only reason why is because if you're telling me that you can blow up, on average 10 inches all around your base and do D6 mortal wounds, if it's one roll and it affects everybody, I can manipulate with 1 CP to re-roll that to do damage to everyone. Where here, I can't say, oh, I want to re-roll this dice to do more damage to, that shield captain. Instead of saying, I rolled a 1. Oh, shit, command point re-roll. Everybody around me takes 6 mortal wounds.
Oh, that would be smart to see. And you remember too, like, it's an oval. Like, the night base is about this big and it's an oval. So the detonation, even the distance out this way is going to be different from out this way. So, like, you literally have to measure from the base itself. Like, so, I mean, it's just common sense kind of stuff and social contract. But yeah, there's a huge advantage to ruling it both of those separate different ways for sure. One other thing I wanted to mention, I didn't do the roundup in the tabletop marketplace, but that Knight Renegade box that's coming out that everybody seems pretty stoked to see again is $195. But here's the thing. It comes with the Knight Errant and the Crusader, which are two different. So you gotta, one gets the upgrades for it, right? So when you factor in the cost of the Galvanic Magnavent, Slowfuse knows how Magnavents work, I'm sure. It ends up being about $372 retail for $195. So that's about a 48% at full retail discount. So it's a good buy if you want to start getting more knights and getting into the Codex some. And we're not even going to probably talk about regular knights tonight, but they don't suck either.
So you guys want to take a quick commercial break, then talk about our pick?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it, guys. Finally, the Long War swag is here. LongWarSwag.com, the official home of Long War merchandise. We've got a range of merchandise exclusive to the Long War brand, Next Level Painting, and Spikey Bits. Definitely log in today while supplies lasts. Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to the longwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
Elric'sHobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. Elric'sHobbies.com. And we're back. Juice.
Knights.
Juice immediately went the same place as I did during the live webcast. We discussed a list live during the show based on all this information Robbie B just gave us to put all of these units into 3 detachments and be as nasty and ridiculous as possible. Juice, begin breaking this down for us, please.
Here we go. So obviously the best form that we can get out of the Night book is going to give us the Supreme Heavy Command, whatever that one.
Super heavy, blah blah.
Auxiliary
not
one that you get 3 to 5.
The one that gives you 1 billion command points for taking OP amount of Lord of Wars.
Right. So it's like 3 CP to have access to 3 to 5 of them. That one. So we're going to go 3 baby Omegers that have the double autocannons each. Right. Then we're going to go
pew-pews.
The pew-pews, the Onager pew-pews. Then we're going to go the Valiant, because he is our dude. He is actually going to be our warlord. This is going to be one of the first times that your warlord is going to come from somebody other than a 25-point company commander from an Astra Militarum detachment. So this guy is going to be our juggernaut that is getting a 3-up invulnerable for most of the game, if at all possible. So that is going to ring in around 1,200 points, 174 times 3 plus 595. Then we're going to go in and obviously take a obligatory 3 Dawn Eagle jet bike shield captains. And for anybody who says, oh, that's boring, that's this, look, I've played it back-to-back tournaments here lately. Kenny has played in a bunch. We've seen him at Adepticon. Like, literally, shield captains is the answer to a lot of Space Marine and Imperial players, the problems that they have had. It is a offensive output in close combat that they don't have access to. I am so happy that Marine players have them. So take them. Don't be stupid, and not because that's what everybody else is doing. They're taking them because they're good and they fulfill a role. So, and they're objective secured. So 3 Dawn Eagle jet bikes at 160 points each.
3 Dawn Eagle jet bikes with the probably springing. We have enough CPs in this list. Probably springing for some CPs here to give them 2 relics so that they both can have 3-up invulnerable. 2 of them can have 3-up invulnerables.
2 will have 3-up invulnerables. Absolutely, we'll have plenty still. Because then we're going to tap in. We've got roughly like 395 points left, somewhere in there. 410 points left. So you're like, oh, what do you do with that? Obviously, you tap into guard. You go Astra Militarum battalion. Go very traditional company commander. And actually, there's points left over. I like, because one of our company commanders is not going to be our grand strategist warlord, because our 600-point knight is going to fulfill that role. I actually like having Primaris Psyker and company commander. So now you have access to some of those cool psychic abilities they have, -1 to hit units, +1 save to units, because you're going to be merging these 3 9-man units of veterans that have a mortar in each one of them. You're going to be merging these units together. Now by turn 3, you can potentially have, a 27-man unit that has in cover, that's getting +1 to their save.
And there's
it gets pretty durable.
And we actually have enough points left over. We have like 107 points left over. We discussed in the webcast. So that we actually went back to the Supreme Command and
to bring in Valaris Raider.
You can add in an elite choice. Yeah.
Yep.
So Vexillum, bubble of 5-up invulnerable and auto pass morale.
Yep. And then obviously the Astra Militarum detachment obviously has 3 squads of 3 mortars. So this list is going to be racking out 12 mortars. All your Astra Militarum stuff is going to have a 5-up invulnerable save. Okay, you're going to have 3 shield captains doing their Thug Thistle.
The shield captains, Juice. This is what I love about the list. So you always need something in front of the shield captains. Heard you had an invincible knight.
Ooh, yes, we did.
I heard you have an invincible knight moving up 12 inches. And these guys are just getting behind it so you can never target them. And then once you get midfield, get fucked.
They Voltron. Yeah, they Voltron out and do their thing. No, this is absolutely a list. It's so funny is that this same combo almost to a version where Robbie B was playing some 40K this past weekend, to a very similar variant of what we talked about on the show a couple weeks ago with the Death Watch, where you have a Astra Militarum Catechin detachment that his Robbie B's has Pask.
Or Cadian.
Excuse me, you're right. Cadian. Never anything other than Cadian. Excuse me. I need to be slapped for that. But so now you're rocking Pask with everything we've already said. You're rocking the 3 shield captains, and you're going in and getting our favorite patrol detachment out of the Death Watch. to find out exactly what that is, you got to go 2 shows back, or maybe even only 1 show back. But no, these are absolutely plug and play lists that will instantly make you competitive.
Yeah, this list is nasty. So you have 3 guys dispensing autocannons of doom. You have a big super knight that is literally, once it gets into threat range, it is deleting 2 to 3 targets and then charging. It's covering the seal captains that then can jump out and destroy things. And meanwhile, you have a CP factory in the backfield. You have a merged squad. And how many command points are we getting from the super heavy detachment?
So that's the thing, though. There's some sort of restriction, and I don't exactly know what it is. There's a very specific way you only get command points by taking the super heavy detachment. There's a specific way and a specific class and way you select the classes.
Is that in the main rulebook?
No, it's knights. It's their, you know how they're like, if you take a detachment of knights, you get, and it follows these criteria, you get this. That's like part of the restriction, because theoretically you can, armigers or squads of 3, and you could fill that up pretty quick and kind of scoop up some command points. So I'm not.
Yeah,
exactly
so basically
sure.
they're trying to keep you from getting 2 armigers and a big knight and get 3 CP for that.
Or 3 armigers.
Or I'm not exactly sure.
No. So from what the vagueness is that you have to be 3 alike to get.
So is it literally 0 or 3?
That's where we're at. I would say that's where we're at. It's either 0 or 3.
Not sure. I just want everybody to be aware that we may be plus or minus command points here in this list.
So we're at 9 or 12.
9 or 12.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Also, there's another interesting, and I don't have the 100% on it, but there's a mechanic similar to the Dark Eldar where you can take warlord traits, where you can stack warlord traits on either multiples or the same guy. And if you can do the same guy, that's could be a little silly, because there is a -1 to hit warlord trait.
Oh, dude.
I don't care about that.
No, I like it.
About what would be a good warlord trait?
I like -1 to dude, 3 up invulnerable, -1 to hit.
Well, okay, no, if you can stack them, yeah, no, I want that. I want -1 + 3. I don't believe you're going to stack them. I don't believe that's going to be the wording or the interpretation. And I was just referring to, if I had to pick between one or the other, always take the 3 up invulnerable.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
What about reroll failed charge?
No, I don't care about that.
Not as important.
It's about keeping your 600 point model alive longer to do its damage longer, especially since most of its best guns are short range. You're going to have to spend a turn moving and advancing.
Yeah, Mortarion is the proof to saying nobody is safe, homie. Mortarion is dead almost the beginning of every game, right? Whenever it goes first, it'll do its thing. And so like we know obviously how badass and how tough he is. Like if he can got that easy, like nobody survives.
Even with Mesme of Pestilence, -1 to hit. Like this is what I think. My feelings.
Yeah, -1 to hit, 4 up, 5 up, feel no pain. He doesn't care. He's dead.
-1 to hit isn't a real number. Like it's -2 to me is the beginning of real negatives, because I don't play an army that doesn't have a way to buff, reroll something to bypass the simplicity of a -1 to hit. But
that is true. My only counterpoint to that is that's because you play an army that comes as a base stat line of hitting on 3s.
That's true. This is a problem for -1 to hit. I'll say this. So I have Alpha Legion. I have -1 to hit on my cultists. The only matchup that I notice the damage scales is against Imperial
Guard and Tau.
Oh yeah, Tau.
When they don't have CP or marker lights, to get all their bonuses.
What about if you're -1 to damage down to a minimum of 1?
I like all
-1. No, I would. I thought it was the halves damage, like the storms, like the Shield Eternals, like halves damage.
That could be good.
-1.
I like all these as extra. How much do they cost me?
And can I stack them on the same guy, which I don't think you can.
I can't say for sure yet, but they are just warlord traits.
Yes, because let's not get it twisted. If you're telling me at the beginning of the game I can spend 3 CP and my Night Titan is going to have a base 4 up invulnerable, -1 to hit, -1 damage, and then on turn 1 I burn 2 CP, so now I'm 5 CP down, but this cat is unkillable, then yes, I will go for this combo at least once. But
I think it may be that way, but I can't say for sure. My notes are incomplete.
We will address this.
How did they rule it for Dark Eldar being able to take multiple?
Save
It's
7 days
different.
from now.
You can't take it on the same duder.
But didn't say that in the rules, right? We talked
No, it
about it.
specifically did. It said choose a homunculi, choose a witch, archetype, whatever, succubus. It was specific.
It wasn't, because we covered it in the podcast and we were like, how are they going to rule this? Because it didn't say limited to multiple models.
It didn't say. No, it did. It said you had to take the specific set. Like you had to take the 3.
No. What Kenny's referring to is no, they haven't spoke on it, and I don't know how they have ruled it.
Yeah.
But to where their ability is saying that you can have multiple warlord traits. We have not heard any ruling as of yet that I know of saying that a one single character can have more than one warlord trait.
It's definitely going to come down to that. Because if there's a way to stack multiple warlord traits on the same guy in this period in this list, in this codex, and it hasn't been addressed yet if they can go into the same person, then GW, because it wasn't a big deal too much of a big deal for the Dark Eldar, but if you're telling me I can have a guy who is -1 to hit, -1 to damage, and 3 promoteable, like all in one guy.
Dude. That guy is a unicorn. Like, I'm pumped because I've got a Hive Tyrant. I'm literally spending the points to make my Kraken, Hive Tyrant, and Warlord now. Just because this cat gets -1 to hit as a relic. He has a 4 if invulnerable. He will get a 5-up, feel no pain. And I can get a Warlord trait that says -1 damage after the turn in which takes damage. So that is like almost unkillable when that combo all goes off, right?
It's pretty strong.
So if you're telling me that's on a 600-point model who's stuffed as 8,
I'm not really sure, to be
Yes, I'll get
honest,
behind
but
sure,
but yeah,
hey,
it's a
maybe it doesn't,
possibility.
but it's worth talking about and laughing about. Like, I'm with it. No, I guess the moral of the story can be boiled down to, if you have knights, you're going to want to get some new ones. If you have new ones, then make sure you buy the old ones, because I'm sure I can't wait to talk about those next week as well, because they're not just going to shit on wardens and everything else that have already come out.
I mean, GW is going to come out with a new exciting set of rules. I mean, models, because they're not a rules company, they're a models company. So they're going to come out with a new set of dope ass models, and we're going to just buy those models because that's nothing to do with the rules. And then, come on.
That'll never happen.
That's not what GW is, not that business.
Yep. So, come to find out, this is what the moral of the story you need to take away from until the next FAQ. If you're a good guy player, own 30 guardsmen, 2 company commanders, some mortars or heavy weapon teams, or don't go mortars. Fine, save 99 points if that means so much to you, and then own 3 shield captains, and then plug and play your absolute favorite love and passion, and you are that more in with the game. For example, i.e., I am so infatuated with my Nids and Gene Stealer Cult right now. I love it. So my 40K psychosis isn't got me buying random armies anymore. It's just got me buying models that I never thought I'd own. I am building lists with side hero duels and barbed hero duels. As Kenny had to make fun of me in the pre-show, how terrible their rules are for 415 points. But guess what?
Who's making fun of who? I was literally just speaking facts, bro.
No, that is true. That is true. I apologize. He is stating the fact of how terrible this guy is for 410 damn points. And then I'm spending a 300-point model to make him just move twice as far. Then I'm spending a 140-point model to make him -1 to hit. So either way, but I am leaning on the fact that Hive Guard are so good.
I got this 600-point knight.
Oh my God. Let me tell you what, that 600-point knight, I ain't got nothing for him. Okay. This side hero duel will be using Swarm Lord's ability to double move.
He's like, what's the invulnerable save on that guy you have?
Nothing.
Well, right at the gate, I'm gonna need you to take 10 plus D3 mortar wounds. Then I'm gonna shoot you with 4 melted guns that are gonna do an average of, I don't know, 12 more wounds.
Come to find out, you don't have to do any more now.
He's dead.
Come to find out, I picked my model up at this point.
Swarm Lord's like, but I'm going to charge you now. Okay, word. Tight. And check this. Awesome.
come to find out, if you just fail your 4-up invulnerable from the harpoon, you are all but useless at this point. Stormlord. No. What'll end up happening is again, but because Hive Guard are so damn good, right? I still bring 12 of them because Gene Stealer Colts are so good that I can take over Night Titans to harpoon themselves, right? Like I'm so glad that you brought a 600-point model because I'm going to nuke one of those armigers.
They're probably 12 inches away.
Right? So either way, I am loving where 8th edition is, being the fact that you can just bring some good shit and then the rest of most people's armies are just filled with shitty shit.
If you have a good core, you can plug in cool things and still win games.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And because so let's look at the core of this Night Titan list. It's got 4 models that are bad. I take it back. It's got 8 models that are badass, right? Between the Vexilla with the 5-up invulnerable, the 3 shield captains, the 3 baby knights, and the 1 big knight, all badass dudes, right? Mm-hmm. Then it's got 36 dudes on foot that are shit.
It's got the Imperial Guard core that make all of these types of lists work.
Right? So like, if I get my shitty units involved with those shitty guardsmen, then I've had a good day. It's when I try to put up my shitty units against your Night Titan and I just get raffle stomped. That's when some of the swing happens. So, nope, the game is at a good balance, I would say, right now. As long as we can get rid of Yannari, because why does that faction even exist? Because there's not even any good fluff to it, and get rid of being able to take people's stratagems away.
I'm with that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna actually ask. What did you guys think of the Volcano Lance? Kind of meh, or?
So we haven't talked about it on air. If you want to.
Oh, okay.
Bring that weapon up. That's on the 610-point guy?
Yeah, that's on the Castellan. I may be plus or minus 5 points here, guys, too, by the way, on those amounts, but it's not that far off. So you've got you got the plasma. We talked about that. The 48-inch range, 2d6, 7 shots, -3, 1, or you can bump it to strength 8, -2, or strength 8, 2 damage. Hold on a second. This guy's
-3. Yep.
Okay. Gotta go. All right. Then there's the Volcano Lance, which is 80-inch range, D6 shots, strength 14, -5, 3d3 damage that gets to reroll to wound against Titan. Keyword.
So it is a better version of a Stormlord or Shadow Sword, whatever the Baneblade variant is.
Right, but it comes with the plasma. It has 1 set of shield breaker missiles. It's got the meltas. You can upgrade and get the shield breakers if you.
And that's 2d6 shots or a d6 number of shots
for the Volcano.
Yeah,
d6.
If I'm taking this guy, I'm going to be taking the piece of terrain for 80 points, where I dock with it for a turn, and then shoot 6 shots of that or 12 shots of my plasma, because that piece of terrain allows you to shoot the max number variable of your shots. Is that right?
Yeah, 1 weapon. Your
one
choice.
weapon. So sure. So that's exactly what I'll do. I'll say, either way, we've seen this in 40K. I believe a Shadow Sword is just better than what you just described to me. So in my mind, why would I take him when if I had the points to take that in my Astro Militarum detachment, I would just make it to where I take a Shadow Sword
all day. No, that's ultimately, we talked about it. We were on board for like 5 minutes and then we went back to Harpoon. Also, the Harpoon has 2 of the missiles. This guy had 1, right?
Yeah, your base cost is 2 of the missiles. You can switch out 1 of the shield breaker guns and get 2 missiles if you want, but actually, what are the points on that? I think they're about the same.
Robbie B with his sticky note collection.
When I say my notes are incomplete, I really just can't read my own handwriting. That's really what it is. I can't make out the scribble. I don't know what that says.
It's like, oh wait, this is actually my grocery list.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how did that get in here?
What stranger wrote me these notes? I was like, oh damn it, that was me.
Wow, shieldbreaker missiles are super cheap. They're 12 points.
I feel like that'll change. And
that's actually a downgrade. So it would be less points if you switched it out for the shield breaker cannon, or what is the other thing? The siege breaker. Why does everything sound the same? Shield siege breaker gun. So you'd save like 20 points. Okay.
This is something new GW's doing, making everything sound the same.
Yep.
Classic GW.
Nailed it.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we picked the right one. There is a relic. I don't think we talked about the plasma cannon relic that you can swap out where it gets a little bit better, but I don't know if it's worth. Let's see. So Mr. Cowell has this is restricted to Quester Mechanicus, but if you're on that side of the fence, you can take the Super Plasma Cannon, which is pretty much the same thing we just talked about, except for it's strength 8, neg 4, 2 damage. If you overcharge it, it's strength 9, neg 4, 3 damage.
I mean, if I'm taking a Plasma Cannon, I want this relic on my dude. But what class is that?
It's keyword Quester Mechanicus, so it's a Mechanicum house.
Oh, okay.
You can't have
So
it with
obviously
like House
each
Tenaris or something.
Sure. So
Well, I guess you could, because isn't Tenaris Quester Mechanicus? We'll say Terran.
yeah, Tenaris. I believe she's fighting in Westeros right now
Yes.
against some dragons.
But that one's not too bad. That might be a relic to take.
No. We're taking this guy.
What? Taking Mr.
Harpoony.
Ahab.
Old Ahab.
Old Ahab. Yar.
Gar. It's the one. I'm telling you, it's the one for me.
That's fair enough then. You heard it here first. Harpoons are good.
Salt. Everything tastes of the sea. All right.
When we need them.
All right. I think we've done it. We've broken it down effectively.
Lots more to talk about, though. Full complement of stratagems,
and
warlord
house traits.
There'll
everything.
be so much more.
One last time before we go. Remember, in case you skipped the intros because you don't listen to us talk, the Long War dice bags are back. longwarswag.com. We got 25 of them in stock right now. Definitely jump on that website.
I think it's only 23 at this point, so the number is getting smaller as we speak.
I lost my
All day, every day. They're so big you can fit a Corvus Blackstar in them. All right, Rob, take us out of here.
Yeah, I don't know where to go for that. So that's it for this one. Make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net, the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.